to realize our need for God, to make time to spend alone time with Him, that we wouldn't need a priest or a preacher because God gave us a Savior, that gave us access to a Father, that when we submit to a process, not of our making, but of His, we can be initiated as men into true masculinity, that we can be led by Him so we learn how to lead, that we can be loved by Him so we learn how to love. This is Ponds and Beavers.
Hey guys, let's have an honest conversation, because I don't really have, I should say, God didn't really give me much direction and heading for any specific topic, but I do feel His heading and direction is to talk about that actual very thing. I kind of got this picture spending time with him earlier about there's a guy in a forest, or you can put yourself in that position. You're the guy in the forest. I'm the guy in the forest. We're in the forest, but we're alone, and we are surrounded by, like, not even hundreds of acres. Like, let's say it's thousands of acres where you see like mountains around you, and it's just land. Okay, so there's no city, no town nearby. I mean, and probably few of us have ever experienced that. I know I've experienced that a couple times. But like, man, you're in this forest and you don't really know your way. There's not street signs in a forest. I mean, gosh, you can get turned around in just like, I don't know, 30 acres, 40 acres, maybe not get lost, but you can get turned around pretty easy. Every tree kind of looks the same. So, we're kind of used to street signs, like I said, and we've got GPS and all that. But what if you're alone with none of that stuff, no way of orienting yourself, and you're in this vast forest? And God kind of gave me that vision, or this image of feeling lost, and then all of a sudden a compass appears in your hand, and you're like, okay, so that's pretty cool, a compass, but okay, I still don't know if I head north or south or west, or you use the compass and you could just about head any direction. I still don't know, like, where is that going to lead me? And then all of a sudden a map appears in your hands, and then that begins to change things. When you have a map, especially the more accurate the map is, the more accurate you can not only find your position potentially, but you can also begin to navigate to a set point on the map, which, if the map is properly representing where you are, you can get to an actual place. Like, let's say there's a river. You can orient yourself based on the map, figure out your location, and then eventually make your way to that river. And what do you need? What let me say this. Let me ask this. What does not the compass, but the compass with the map, what does that offer? It offers you what? Direction. It offers you heading. I would say more than anything in a man's life, and I'm talking about not like when you step back and look at your past decade or even the past 5 years. I'm talking about a man's day-to-day life, your day-to-day life, my day-to-day life. What is the thing we long for the most? If we were honest and asked ourselves, what do I want most from the second I wake up and throughout the day? I guess maybe towards the evening we stop caring because the day's practically gone. But I'm talking about the second we wake up. Man, what is it we want? We want direction. We want heading. Imagine this dude standing in thousands of acres with nothing but trees around him that all look the same, and no real point of, with flying, you can use a navigation skill called dead reckoning, and basically you're recognizing, if there's a city around you or buildings, you're recognizing like landmarks, right? And that could be rivers, mountains, it could be a lake or a pond. Dead reckoning uses, through sight, you can you can know where you're going to be at a certain time, and it tells you where you are at that certain time while looking at a map. Or anyways, all that to say, but you're using visuals along with, let's say, a map and a watch, and you're hitting each point on the map, and you're using landmarks, you're using things that are kind of obvious, right? But what if you don't have any of that? You look around and all you see is trees. I mean, I've been in there. I've been in that place more than once in my life, and like it feels terrible. You feel lost, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's not until you pull out some tools, or you've screenshotted a map on your phone, you pull that up and you look, oh, okay, I think I know. When I was flying in Alaska, it's pretty easy to just look down and look at this river. I remember flying to a certain little mountain airport, and I literally didn't even use the GPS. And it was refreshing to not have to use a GPS. Man, I just followed the river. I just got really down low and just followed that river the whole way, led right up to that airport. That felt really good to just use a landmark. But what if we wake up and we don't know? We don't know what the future holds. We don't, me and my wife were watching The Matrix. And man, there's so many parallels with like God and us, and in this world, everything that we see. And so we're watching The Matrix, and one of the things that kept popping out was like they were able to kind of foresee the future. They could kind of foresee what things would happen. And we don't have that, but guess who does? God has that. God can tell you, hey son, why don't you go left, go this way, go this direction. Why don't you call a buddy or text a buddy, reach out. And we may not really know the reason. It may not make sense. Well, God, I haven't talked to this guy in a while, and I don't really want to reach out to him. I've got to focus on this and that and do this and that, and so basically we have this ability because of God to be given a direction, to be given a heading, literally a place to head, a step to take that has purpose. That's what we want as men. We long for that. We don't want our steps to be in vain. We want our steps to have purpose, right? And to be on purpose because of that purpose. That makes sense. We want a heading. We want somewhere. Guys, you have a compass and a map, and it's God, right? And He gives you the direction, right? The direction. He gives you the heading, the bearings, the degrees, the coordinates. It's exact and precise. I mean, it's literally what I'm saying is it's everything we want as men. Precision. We want a location. And we want direction. We want, how many of us go to the GPS when we start seeing traffic and we're like, oh man, is it better to stay in this traffic, or is there a better route? Is there a way around this traffic? Or we know it's rush hour. So as we're leaving the house, as I'm leaving the house, my wife's looking up the fastest route, and we're trying to avoid traffic, or we're trying to, what are we wanting? We're wanting efficiency. We're wanting, just the best route. Well, guess who has that? Guess who knows that? God. And guys, if we're Christians, if we're claiming Christianity, and we're claiming, yeah, God's Spirit lives in us and all this stuff, blah, blah, and well then it's like having a compass and a map. And is it stuffed away in our backpack? Are we keeping God stuffed in? Are we carrying around with us a pocket-sized God that fits in our control and our limitations and our stubbornness, the things that we won't let go of? Because we know the second we pull our little pocket-sized God out, he's gonna sort of inflate himself back into like who he really is, and that may scare us. That may scare us to think that he may ask us to do things that we don't want to do. Hard things, actual hard things like I've talked about. Obedience to God. But what we don't realize and understand is following God is the best and greatest adventure that we could ever wish for, that we could ever imagine. And it is at our fingertips. He is not an in-the-sky God. He is not a far and distant creator God or a distant father God. He's not a distant friend that we haven't talked to in a while. He is in us, dwelling in us. That's who He is. He paid a high price to be able, that we receive Him, and the gift that He gave us to be able to live inside of us, a high price. And we sing about it all the time at church, and we hear preachers preach about it all the time at church. We may even preach to others about it ourselves. Jesus this and Jesus that, but are we living out the free gift that we've received? Are we utilizing the compass and map that He's given us now in Him, relationship with Him? That's really the finality of our lives, wrapped all up with a pretty bow in one single package. God wants to direct and lead and give us heading to our lives. That's it. It's as simple as that. Everything can be wrapped up in that one simple truth. Are we following God? Are we? Am I waking up every day? Because the honest answer is no. I'm not waking up every day and letting God lead. But I tell you, there's something in my heart that's been ruined forever, and I want God to lead. Even if I fight Him, even if I'm stubborn and I wrestle with Him, you know. There's something in my heart that is something I cannot ignore. I cannot shake it. And at the end of the day, or no, actually at the end of the hour, I should say, at the end of the hour, sometimes I don't even last an hour being stubborn. I don't last an hour wrestling with Him, even if it's something I don't want to do. I'll be real honest with you. I didn't want to make this video today. I didn't want to. I kept saying, God, what the heck do I have to talk about? You know, what do I have to say? What do I have to, you know? And it's just, guys, it's all of us, and it's our nature. And it's all BS and it's all excuses. And it will rob us of that adventure that we could have with God. It will rob us. Something profound God showed me the other night as we're watching a movie or doing something, me and my wife. He showed me this, that it is not the devil who robs us. It is us who allows the robbing. Because what we relinquish, the devil will gladly take. And we are relinquishing way too much of our life and our time to everything else except God. We are relinquishing feeling lost, being lost. We're relinquishing having direction and heading. And we're trading that, guys, for being lost. You're either going to have one or the other. You're either lost and doing things on your own without a compass and a map, and good luck with that, man, because I've done that too many times. I almost did that today. Guys, it's not worth it. Right? I mean, look at me. I'm on a almost 13-minute rant right now, and that would not have happened if I would not have obeyed and followed God. He gave me a heading. He handed me a map and a compass. And it's as simple as that. I am no different than you. I have the same weaknesses. I would argue I have more weaknesses than you. I have more vices. I have more temptations. I have more battles to fight. Things pulling at me, demanding my attention. And it's just a choice, guys. It's just a choice to say yes to God and to say no to everything else. It is the most worth it choice you'll ever make. And it's worth everything. Because guess what? Sometimes it takes everything. But think about what worship is. Think about what worship is. Worship is an all-in type of thing. Worship is a no BS, no games. I'm in it to win it. Here's my all. That's what real worship is. And what things are we giving our worship to? What things are we devoting our lives to, our time to? Our time is so precious. Out of everything God's given us, He's given us nothing but time. When it's all said and done, the only thing He's given us that we can spend is really time. Think about that. It will always be true, at least on this side of heaven, until we hit eternity. Time is the most precious resource that we have been given to spend or to waste. We wake up every day longing deeply, yearning for direction and heading. And let me tell you this, it is the most fulfilling, I'm talking heartfelt fulfillment, like deep contentment, no matter what our circumstance is. It is the most deep contentment we could ever ask for, to know that we are obediently following the direction and heading that God's given us. Yeah, it's scary at times, a lot of the time, right? But I'm not the guy that foolishly believes that David ran towards the giant with no fear, right? And here's how I know that. I say foolishly because David was no fool. So it's only a fool who would believe something that's not true. Only a fool believes lies, right? And I don't want to be that fool. I know David was human, and I know that in the midst of fear, because of God, he had courage. So let's not use fear as an excuse or how terrifying it is to follow God, to be obedient to the things that God has called us to. We know what those things are, guys. It's the things deep down that we can't shake, the dreams deep down that we can't run from. And we've tried, right? When someone asks us, are we happy, or do we like the job we're at, or what we're doing, or are we happy in our life, or are we content, right? Are we really following God? I mean, it's that simple, guys. And then when we tell a man, hey, if you could do anything, or if there was a dream that could manifest in your life tomorrow, what would that dream be? Guys, I'm not crazy when I say this. I know it's true. It's directly correlated to your calling. It's directly correlated to the things that God has called you to. And it's not until we pick up that map and compass that we'll ever taste what that dream is, what that thing is that we've been running from, or that we've compromised and betrayed to pay the bills, or to become financially secure in jobs that we hate and despise. And these are real everyday battles that we face, guys, feelings that we feel every day. A lot of us miserable in certain areas, but you're going to be until you let that go, until you let God be the map and compass, until you let him give you bearing and heading, direction. And you're going to keep feeling lost. I'm going to keep feeling lost until I obey, until I surrender, and with an outstanding amount of worship, giving God everything. It's not until that happens and obedience follows will I ever feel the incredible contentment and peace and strength and confident courage to do the unthinkable, to look crazy in front of others, but knowing deep down the conviction that I am being obedient to what God is calling me to do. And that is a question only you can answer, and only you know. That's between you and God, because that's between me and God too. So anyways, guys, all that to say, the sneaky underlying thing behind all this is what I say every time: make time to get away and get alone with God. Guys, you want to get squared away, go to God. Don't ask me. Take all your questions, all your frustrations. Well, Chris said this, and I don't know about that. I don't agree with that. And take it to God. We can't trust ourselves, so don't you dare take it to yourself and your logic and reason. Take it to God. Let him be the actual reasonable one in the room, because he is. Let him be the truth in the room, because he is. Take it to God. Make time to get away and get alone with God. We all have 5 minutes. Guys, give God 5 minutes. It'll be the best 5 minutes you've ever spent. And you'll be shocked at how that 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes real quick. And even faster does that turn into 20 minutes. And then it's not so hard after that to pick up that map and compass and to say, God, I'm willing to give everything to this map and compass, everything for this direction. We're going to really live out what it means to say, like a deer pants for water, man, I pant for you, God. I pant to have that. I long for that direction. Like I'm dying of thirst, do I thirst for that heading, that bearing, that compass marker that saves my day So it saves my life. And if my life is safe, maybe my wife's life will be safe. Maybe my kid's life can be safe. Because they see the example that I'm living out, not just speaking about or singing about. No, I'm not a poser. I'm living it out. Wake up every day. God, I want you to be my map and compass. Make time to get away and get alone with God, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in there. Yeah, we're in this together, so, it's for me too. That we all should make time to get away and get alone with God. So until next time, see ya.